हेलो दोस्तों, स्वागत है आपका आपके अपने यूट्यूब चैनल बीसी वाली ज्ञान की गंगा में। तो आज हम कंटिन्यू करेंगे सोशल साइंस क्लास 6 एनसीईआरटी चैप्टर 3 से। सो लेट्स स्टार्ट दोस्तों। अथर्ववेद में कहा गया है कि फ्री फ्रॉम द बर्डन ऑफ ह्यूमन बींग्स मे द अर्थ विद मैनी हाइट्स, slopes and great plains, bearing plants endowed with varied powers, spread out for us and show us her riches. The earth is my mother and I am her child. तो बड़ा ही प्यारा शब्दों में इसमें बताया है कि अर्थ जो है हमारी माँ है और हम उसके बच्चे हैं। अर्थ ने हमारे लिए बहुत सारी जो है बड़ी बड़ी लंबी हाइटों वाले जो है स्लोप्स बनाए हैं, पहाड़ बनाए हैं, पर्वत बनाए हैं, प्लांट्स बनाए हैं और काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें जो है हमें दी हैं हमारे जीवन को रिच बनाने के लिए। तो ये देखिए दोस्तों, इसमें पहाड़ दिखाए गए हैं, पेड़ दिखाए हैं, नदियाँ दिखाई हैं, जो दिखाती हैं कि हमारी नेचर कितनी रिचनेस और कितने मिनरल्स हमारी डेली यूजेस की जो चीज़ें हैं उनसे भरी हुई हैं। किस तरीके से हम इन रिसोर्सेज का यूज़ करके अपनी डेली लाइफ को जीते हैं और किस तरीके से जीवन इस पे संभव है। द बिग क्वेश्चन इज व्हाट आर द मेजर टाइप ऑफ लैंडफॉर्म्स एंड देयर सिग्निफिकेंस टू लाइफ एंड कल्चर। सेकेंड क्वेश्चन है व्हाट आर द चैलेंजेस एंड अपॉर्चुनिटीज ऑफ लाइफ एसोसिएटेड विद ईच लैंडफॉर्म। तो ये दो क्वेश्चन है दोस्तों, इनके बारे में हम फाइंड आउट करना चाहेंगे। सो इंट्रोडक्शन है दोस्तों। ह्यूमन लाइक मोस्ट मैमल्स लिव ऑन लैंड. Land, as you may have noticed, has many forms and features. Its appearance changes a lot from one region to another. Suppose that you are traveling by road from the region known as Chota Nagpur in Jharkhand, reach Prayagraj in Uttar Pradesh, and go on to Almora in Uttarakhand. On the way, you will see very different landscapes. In fact, you will encounter three major landforms which we will now explore. A landform is a physical feature on the surface of our planet. Landforms take shape over millions of years and have a significant connection with the environment and life. They can broadly be divided into three categories: mountains, plateaus, and plains. These landforms have different climates and are home to a variety of flora and fauna. Humans have adapted to all landforms, but the number of people living on different kinds of landforms varies throughout the world. First है दोस्तों mountains. Mountains are landforms that are much higher than the surrounding landscape. They can be recognized by a broad base, steep slopes, and a narrow summit. Depending on their height, some mountains are covered with snow. At lower altitudes, the snow melts every summer and turns into water that feeds river. At high altitude, the snow may never melt, leaving the mountain permanently snow-capped. Other highlands with a lower height, less steep slopes, and rounded top are called hills. What is precipitation दोस्तों? Water from the atmosphere reaches the ground in any form. Either it's rain, snow, and hail are the most common forms of precipitation. Think about it. What is snow? Unless you live in Himalaya region such as Kashmir, Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, you may never have seen snow. In the rest of India, most precipitation is in the form of rain and hail. But higher altitudes, if it is cold enough, snow will fall, covering the landscape in a soft and beautiful white blanket. Snow and hailstorms are nothing but precipitation of water in a solid state. So see here a picture of Mount Everest. In my right, Mount Aconcagua, Mount Kilimanjaro, Mount Blanc, Mount Anaimodi, Mount Kanchenjunga. These are 6 pictures of the mountains of the world. Now, most of the world mountains are grouped in mountain ranges, such as Himalaya in Asia, the Alps in Europe, and the Andes in South America. Some of these ranges stretch for thousands of kilometers in terms of height. Show a picture of six mountains of the world. In 3.2, the picture which we already seen, these are the six world's mountains picture. Now show picture of brings them together to give a visual impression of their relative heights. Now you can see their relative heights in this picture. Their relative heights compared. Mount Everest between Tibet, China and Nepal, and Kanchenjunga between Nepal and the Indian state of Sikkim are the two highest peak of Himalaya range. Mount Aconcagua in South America is the highest peak of Andes. Mount Kilimanjaro in Eastern Africa is an isolated mountain that is not part of any range. Mount Blanc in Western Europe is the highest mountain of the Alps. Anai in Kerala, also known as Anai Peak, is the highest mountain in South India. Mountain forest, a type of forest that grow in mountainous region. Moss, a small green plant without flowers or true roots, often spreading in a cushion-like cover. Lichen, a plant-like organism that generally clings to rocks, walls or tree. These are lichen. Now mountains with tall and sharp peaks like the Himalayas are relatively young, which means that they were formed recently in the Earth's history, but that is still millions of years ago. Shorter and more rounded mountains and hills like the Aravalli Range are much older and have been rounded by erosion. Sometime as with the Himalayas upliftment as well as erosion continue to this day, you will learn more in science about such process and their cause. Let us just say here that some mountains of the world like Himalaya are still growing in height. Now mountain environment, mountain slopes are often covered with a type of forest called monte forest, where conifer trees such as pines, firs, spruce and deodar are common. These conifer trees grow tall and cone-shaped with thin, pointed leaves. At higher altitude, the trees gave way to grasses, mosses, and lichen. Here are the two verses of the Kalidas. Please read it with your book. Now here is some species of animals and birds. One is falcon, Persian falcon, then Himalayan thar, mountain hare, golden eagle, Canadian lynx, grey fox, ibex, yak, leopard, black bear. Few mountain animals here shown. Deep forest flowing rivers, lake, grassland, caves in the mountains are home to diverse fauna. For instance, the golden eagle, the Parisian falcon, the Canadian lynx, the snow leopard, and the above mentioned all the animals. These are some example of this fauna of the mountains area. Ganga is the Indian name of the largest river originating in the Himalayas. In English, Ganges is also used nearly 2,500 km long. This river has numerous tributaries, that is, other rivers joining it. Some of them, like the Yamuna and the Ghagra, also originate in the Himalayas. Others, like the Son, originate from the Vindhya range to the south of the Ganga plain. Now, this is a terrace farming in North India. जहाँ माउंटेन्स होते हैं वहाँ किस तरीके से टेरेस फार्मिंग होती है, ये एक एग्जाम्पल है। इंडोनेशिया और जो तमाम हमारे साउथ एशियन जो कंट्री हैं वो भी इसी तरीके की फार्मिंग करते हैं। लाइफ इन माउंटेन्स, द माउंटेन टेरेन is usually rugged or rough and has steep slopes. This means that regular farming can only be practiced in some valleys. Yes, when so steep mountains, there the those mountains are not suitable for farming. Now cultivation is practiced on the slopes by cutting steps into the slopes. This is called terrace farming. In many mountainous regions of the world, herding is a preferred occupation over agriculture. What is valley? A lower area between hills or mountains, often with a river or stream flowing through it. That area is known as valley. Tourism is often an important source of income for the people living in the mountains. The crisp mountain air and scenic beauty attract many tourists. Some tourists also go to the mountains for sports such as skiing, hiking, mountaineering, and paragliding. For many centuries, people have also traveled to those uplands for pilgrimages to holy sites, but an excessive inflow of visitors can also put the fragile mountain environment under pressure. It is often difficult to find the right balance. Don't miss this. Bachendri Pal started climbing mountains from a young age and led many women climbing expeditions. She was the first Indian woman to climb Mount Everest in 1984 and was awarded Padma Shri the same year and Padma Bhushan in 2019. Now recently नेपाल के एक माउंटेनियर जो है कामेरिता, जो 32 टाइम्स जो है वर्ल्ड रिकॉर्ड उन्होंने बना दिया है माउंट एवरेस्ट पे चढ़ने का। ये नेपाल के हैं। सो सेकंड, Arunima Sinha lost a leg in an accident when she was 22. With Vachendri's Pal's encouragement and training, she managed to climb Mount Everest in 2013 and went on to climb the highest peak of every continent, including Mount Vinson in Antarctica. She was awarded Padma Shri in 2015. Now let's explore these images. Pictures, figure 3.6 on page number 50 depict a few challenges that people living in the mountains may face. Discuss them in groups in class. Write one paragraph on each. Also discuss why, despite many such challenges, people still choose to live in mountains. So here is some flash flood. So flash flood is very common in the mountain areas. Then landslide also is very common. Uncontrolled tourism is increased. Avalanche, suddenly snow will come down, and lot of mountaineers lost their life every year. Heavy snowfall, all the uh, routes of those areas which come under mountains get stuck. Cold weather, cloud burst. So these are some situations which faced by the mountains people. So life is very challenging from natural and human made, some of which are depicted in these pictures. Many traditions, community around the world consider mountains to be sacred places and worship them. Mount Everest, the highest mountain in the world at 8,849 meters, has many names. Tibetans call it Chomolungma, which means mother goddess of the world, and worship the mountain as such. Nepali calls it Sagarmatha, meaning goddess of the sky. Similarly, Mount Kailash in Tibet is held sacred by followers of Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Bon, an ancient Tibetan region. Such reverence for mountain summits is also found elsewhere in India as well as in other parts of the world. Now comes second, plateau. A plateau is a landform that rises up from the surrounding land and has a more or less flat surface. Some of its sides are often steep slopes, like mountains. Plateaus can be young or old in terms of Earth history. Two examples of plateaus are the Tibetan Plateau, the largest and highest plateau in the world, and the Deccan Plateau. The height of plateau can vary from a very 100 meter to several thousand meters. Don't miss out, the Tibetan Plateau has an average altitude of 4,500 meters, which explains why it has been nicknamed the roof of the world. From east to west, it is nearly 2,500 kilometers long, the distance from Chandigarh to Kanyakumari. The Deccan Plateau of the central and south India is one of the oldest plateaus in the world, formed through volcanic activity millions of years ago. Like mountains, plateaus are rich in minerals deposits. They have been storehouses of minerals. As a result, mining is a major activity on plateaus, where many of the world's largest mines are found. For example, the East African Plateau is famous for gold and diamond mining. In India, huge reserves of iron, coal, and manganese are found in Chota Nagpur Plateau. The plateau environment is very diverse across the world. Many plateaus have a rocky soil, which makes them less fertile than plains, and therefore less favorable to farming. An exception is that of lava plateaus, that is formed through volcanic activity, as they often have a rich black soil. Plateaus are also home to many spectacular waterfalls. The Victoria Falls on the Zambezi River in southern Africa, the Handroor Falls on the Subnarekha River in Chota Nagpur Plateau, and Jogfall on Saravati River in the Western Ghat are a few such waterfalls. The Nohkalikai Falls drop down 340 meters from the Cherrapunji Plateau. Now here you can see this is the plateau and how that waterfall is shows. So this is the Nohkalikai Falls emerging from the Cherrapunji Plateau. So ये जो है चेरापूंजी प्लेट्यू से जो है नीचे गिरते हुआ जो वाटरफॉल है. Now thirds come plains. Plains are landforms that have an extensive flat or gently undulating surface. They do not have any large hills or deep valleys. They are generally not more than 300 meters above from sea level. What is sea level? The average level of the surface of the oceans, also called mean sea level. Let me explain you. It means what? Suppose this is the sea, and from this level, suppose we consider this is the zero level, and on this level this earth will started. Now landforms have different shapes, but we take at a common point. If land is this like in this form, this is the land. Now how we consider the sea level? From this level, this zero level, to we take the height of this level. Suppose this is the minimum 300 meter. They are generally not more than. So this is the height of the plains. I hope you get this point. Now floodplains are one type of plains formed by rivers originating in mountains ranges, where they collect particles of rock and sand and silt called sediments. These sediments are carried all the way to the plains where the rivers deposit them, making the soil very fertile. As a result, these plains are ideal for growing crops for all kinds, and agriculture is a major economic occupation in this landform. Now, plains are also support a variety of flora and fauna. So these river plains in shows in green, plateau in this brown shape, dark brown, and light brown it shows mountain ranges. You can use the colors in landform to each name, for instance Tibetan Plateau, Rocky Range, Nile Plain. So here is some satellite picture of the earth in terms of ranges where its snow is showing, then plateau it shows, and the plain ground is clearly differentiated. This is the Ganga satellite view of the Ganga plain. Now, life in plains. Thousands of years ago, the first civilization developed around rivers in fertile plains. In our times too, a large part of world population lives in plains. About 40 crore people, more than one-fourth of the total Indian population, live in India's Ganga plain, often called the Gangetic plain. As with many other plains of the world, the major occupation of people in this region include river fishing and agriculture. Food crops such as rice, wheat, maize, barley, and millets are grown. Fiber crops such as cotton, jute, hemp are also grown in the Gangetic plain. Traditional agriculture has been mostly rain-fed, that is, watered through rainfall. In recent decade, however, agriculture has turned to irrigation, with water brought to the fields through networks of canals or pumped from groundwater. While irrigation has increased agriculture production, it has also contributed to the depletion or decrease of groundwater. This presents a challenge for the future of agriculture in the region. Some of the other problems affecting the Ganga plains include high population and pollution. Whether in mountain ranges or plains, rivers around the world have carried immense cultural value. In particular, many communities have considered a river source and its confluence with one or two other rivers to be sacred. In India, numerous festivals, ceremonies, and rituals are conducted at such locations because plains have a gentle slope. River navigation is easy and supports a lot of economic activities. In earlier days, people also used river extensively to travel from one place to another. Even today, there are stretches along the Ganga where people prefer to use boats to move around. Now, you know about some inland waterways. Now, in inland waterways, there is some national waterways. So, how many is total? At present, they are 111, in which five national waterways are major waterways. These five major waterways I have been given in a shorts video on my channel. You can go and watch these five national waterways in a simple glimpse of 1 minute around short video. You will find the five major national waterway and you will know. Now Name some popular tourist destination in India and identify the category of landforms they are associated with. So in India, we have found lot of tourist places where different landform. If we are started from the top, we have seen Leh and Ladakh, Jammu and Kashmir, J&K, and in mountains again people are going to Mount Everest, and in northeast side various temples and other Mansarovar, Jheel. These are some mountains tourist destination. Now that come again Nainital, Shimla, northeast places. These come under plateau or between the mountains. Third come if we go towards the Banaras, Allahabad. These are some base areas where we can found landform is plain. In this chapter we explored the three main landforms, but its surface is very complex and experts often define a few more landforms. Now what is resilience? The capacity to meet challenges and difficulties, adapt to them or to overcome them. This is called resilience. Deserts are considered to be large and dry expanses with very little precipitation. बारिश कम होती है यहाँ. Their flora and fauna are also unique. Some deserts are hot like the Sahara Desert in Africa or the Thar Desert in the northwest of Indian subcontinent. Others are cold like the Gobi Desert in Asia. Some experts also describe the Antarctica continent as a desert. Despite harsh living conditions, दुर्लभ जीवन की कंडीशंस स्थिति होने के बावजूद भी humans have adapted to most of the deserts. In India, communities living in the Thar Desert or migrating through it hold rich culture traditions such as folk songs and legends related to the desert. The diverse way in which humans have made all the landforms their home is a testimony to our adaptability and resilience. The five trainees of ancient Tamil Sangam poetry are five landscapes associated with certain specific deities जो भगवान या जो भी पूज्य है उनका जो नाम लाइफस्टाइल उनके क्या है मूड्स क्या है इमोशंस क्या है emotions is just such as love longing separation quarrel etc. This table only lists the characteristic of the five landscapes and the main human occupation in each. Now mountainous region hunting and gathering is the main occupation. In Tamil it's a Kurinji, Munai, grassland and forest, cattle rearing, Marudam, Merudam, fertile agriculture plains, farming, Nedal, coastal regions, fishing and seafaring, Palai, arid desert-like region, journeying the uh, journeying and fighting. These five terrains constitute a different classification of landforms than the one we have seen, but they reflect a keen awareness of the diverse region and their characteristics. They also illustrate the deep connection between the humanity and the natural environment. You do not need to remember the details of these, but the concept they reflect need to be understood. Before we move on, landforms are classified into three main types: mountains, plateau, plains. So these are the three: mountains, plateau and plains. They have very different physical characteristics and environments. Throughout history, people lives and activities have been much impacted by the types of landform they have lived in. These landforms are an integral part of culture across the world. Indian culture in particular has celebrated them in diverse ways. Each landform offers different challenges as well as opportunities. So here is some questions. Please try to solve. If don't solve, you comment on this video section and I will give the answer and try to help you out. So how you understand this lecture, please comment in our वीडियो सेक्शन. थैंक यू. मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में.